Hello friends, welcome to take 2 of Chloe's makeup tutorial, and I am here with you today to demonstrate my everyday look. So I'm going to go through from start to finish and demonstrate my methods and show you the products that I use to create this look that you see here. So I'm going to start out with some concealer, and I'm using Tarte's Shape Tape. Alright, and now that I've got the concealer in place, I'm going to put my powder foundation on, and I use Jane Iredale Pressed Powder. The nice thing about powder foundation is that it's very layerable, so you can control the amount of coverage that you want. And I always like to make sure to pull the foundation down onto my neck a little bit so that there's not that really clear line along the jawline, particularly if you're doing your makeup in the bathroom or in front of a vanity. The light is not going to be the same as the outdoor light, and so sometimes it's going to look different when you go outside. So now that my foundation is in place, I'm going to do a little bit of contour, and this part is really fun because you can pretty much just create a great bone structure to work with. So I'm going to use this Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, and there are 6 shades in here to create dimension. So I'm going to start out with this one right over here for the cheekbones. So when you're contouring, you're going to just follow the natural hollow that's just right underneath your cheekbone. And then just to accentuate what we just did with the shadow, I'm going to contrast it with some light on top of the cheekbone. Okay, and then I'm going to contour the nose as well. So for the nose, I'm going to do a little bit of a lighter color. So I want these shadows to be the most pronounced on my face. I'm going to start right up here. And I'm just going to follow the bridge of the nose down to the tip. Last but not least, I'm just going to contour the outer corners of the face a little bit. Also along the jawline up till about right here. All right, so there's my contour. And now, the way that I blend it when I'm working with powder foundation is actually just to apply a light final coat of that same foundation color over the contour that I just applied. So again, because this is so layerable and you can control the coverage level, and then you can still see a little bit of the contour showing through. All right, so I'm all contoured. Now I'm going to add a little bit of blush for some color. So this might be considered a faux pas by some people. I do like to add a little bit of a darker blush right over where we just put the contour. So I'm going to use 2 colors of blush, one for the apples of my cheeks and then one for just some dimension in the contour under the cheekbones. And I'm just using Fit by Maybelline, and the shade is Berry. And then I'm going to use Tarte in Captivating. It's a nice peachy color. And I'm just going to apply this to the apples of the cheeks. Now I'm going to start on my brows. I like to make sure that the inner corners of my brows are really soft because I used to do it where I had this really harsh angle on the inner corner, and now I look back at pictures and I really don't like how that looks. What I've started doing is just using a dry powder on the inner corners so that they're really blendable I can just sort of feather it into the darker brow as it moves out towards the end. So I'm gonna start, I'm just using NYX Brow Kit, and I'm gonna use the lighter of the two shades with no pomade. All right, so I've got my starting point there with my inner corners. Now I'm going to use Anastasia Brow Pomade in Chocolate. All right, so there's my first brow. I follow the basic line of my natural eyebrow, but I added a bunch of fullness and density. So I started out by outer lining the shape that I want for my brow, and then I just lightly filled it in. So I didn't want to be too heavy-handed about it. All right, so now that we have the brows in place, I'm gonna add the eyeshadow. I'm gonna be using the amazing Jaclyn Hill palette from Morphe, and it's got 35 colors. You can see that I definitely got my money's worth out of this thing. Okay, so I'm gonna use this nice coppery shade right here, and I'm just gonna use that on the crease in the outer corner of my eye. One of my favorite techniques that I've learned from so many years working with cosmetologists is really simple, but it's a game changer. So I just use a little square of paper towel, and I'm going to use that to create an upward angle for the shadow. So a lot of times when people apply eyeshadow, it will kind of pool at the corner of the eye instead of making a nice sharp angle, and that can tend to make the eyes look droopy. So this is going to be a lifesaver to create that really great angle to make your eyes look sharp and not droopy. So I'm just going to get a little bit of this copper shadow on the tip of my brush, and I'm just going to feather it in. And I'm only going to about this point of the eye, and then I'm just gonna blend it. All right, so you see we have a nice crisp angle here, and I'm just gonna do the same thing on the other side. I like to do a lighter pink shade from the apex of my lid to the inner corner. So I'm going to use this cute little pink right here. And I'm just going to apply it starting at the inner corner and blending it to the apex of my eyelid. I'm going to take this, it's kind of an iridescent beige color, a cream color, and I'm just going to put it right on the inner corner of the eye so it catches that light. I also like to take a little bit of that same color on a tiny brush and just put it right under the eyebrow. Next, I'm just going to soften this line and kind of bring the whole thing down onto my lower lid. Just going to get a little bit on the brush. And I'm just bringing the line up to meet that angle that we just created on the top. I'm super extra, and I always like to add a little cat eye. So I'm going to be using Super Cat liquid eyeliner from Soap & Glory. The great thing about this eyeliner is it's got great precision. It stays right where you put it. It's got a felt tip. And the other thing is, if you have eyelash extensions like I do, this is an oil-free formula, so it's not going to make your lash extensions fall out. All right, so I'm going to start my line right here at the top of my lid. So I haven't quite finished up here, But now I'm gonna go straight to the bottom and create a line so that I can meet it in the middle. All right. And then before I do my mascara, I am gonna do a little bit of bronzer. Sephora was just having a 60% off sale. Thank you, quarantine. So I grabbed this little baby. It's a Jessica Rabbit face and body bronzer. So super fun. So I'm just gonna get a little bit of this on my brush and just put it where the sun would naturally hit. All right, and now I'm gonna add a little bit of lip color. And again, I'm gonna use Soap & Glory Pout Standing. They have a two-sided liner and crayon. And I'm gonna just overline my lips a little bit. So I'm just going to go slightly outside of the natural line of my lips, and that is gonna make them look nice and full. When you are starting with the Cupid's bow, this top part of your lip, instead of making an M shape, it's really helpful to draw an X and then to fill it in from there. Now overlining is great, but you always want to make sure you don't overline into the corners of your lips. That will make them look really goofy. I think it might be time to retire that guy. Now because I can, I'm going to just blend a little bit of bronzer into my neck. I'm going to use Tarte Park Avenue Princess. Oh, this stuff smells so good. So now I'm moving on to the mascara. I'm just using mascara by Novalash. Well, that's as good as we're gonna get today. Now for my underlashes, I'm gonna be using Too Faced Better Than Sex. In case you're wondering, it is not. I mean, it's great, don't get me wrong. So last step today is gonna be highlighter, and I'm gonna use Too Faced Turn Up the Light palette in medium. And it's got these 3 shades that are varying degrees of shimmer. So I'm gonna layer these a little bit. And I'm gonna start out with Soft Focus that's in the middle. And I'm just gonna dab it lightly on. All right, now that everything is where I want it, I'm going to use a setting spray. So I have Too Faced Hangover RX. This can also be used as a primer if you want to spray before you actually apply your foundation. Ta-da! And we are done. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope this has been as fun for you as it was for me to make. I hope you guys are staying well and keeping busy. Keep those chins up, and I'll see you soon.